Hello, I'm going to do a quick critique of this sales letter as it stands. And first we'll take it from the headline. Okay, now coming here, the headline says, are you losing money every time you send traffic to your funnel? Now, apart from the fact that headlines that use a question is very tricky, there are some that have been very successful, but it's very tricky to write a headline, that is a question. And but secondly here, are you losing money every time you send traffic to your funnel? The answer is, of course, yes. I mean, except you're getting 100% conversion, everyone loses money when they send traffic to a funnel. So the headline lacks specificity. It doesn't really appeal to your target market. It's a little bit too general, and therefore, if you try to aim at everyone, then you end up being effective for no one. Okay, so coming here, it doesn't really indicate and tell me who your target market really is, apart from those persons, marketers, who you might, say, well, they have a funnel that is, set up. But the question is, I'm losing money every time I send traffic to my funnel. I mean, like, am I sending traffic from Facebook? Well, if I'm a Facebook marketer, I'll be interested. Am I sending traffic from pay-per-click? Am I sending traffic from solar ads? Where is this traffic coming from? Okay, so if you're specific enough to say where you're sending the traffic from, then you have your target audience right there, and they are able to say, okay, this letter is for me. But as it stands right now, the headline is a little bit too specific. Okay, let's continue here. So here's how we can make $1.64 per month for every person that has opted into your squeeze page. Now, the trick here is that $1.64 per month doesn't look very attractive. And you use this kind of a amortization principle when you want to make a big price look small. Okay, so instead of the person paying $10,000, you tell them that it really works out to $47 per month, whatever the case might be. But here you want to indicate that the person is making a lot of money, and $1.64 per month per person is too much for the person to calculate. So rather than saying that per month, say 10,000 per month, or 20,000 per month, or 30,000 per month from a particular list. Okay, so that is not where you want to use this kind of a small number here, especially in the headline. Okay, okay, and by the way, our list is currently 60,000 deep. So do the multiplication. Okay, so if it is 60,000 deep, do the multiplication. Multiply the 60,000 by the $1.64 and show me that big number. Okay, but that small number again is not very attractive. Okay, we continue now. Are you sick of spending hundreds of dollars spending ad every time the funnels? Okay, this is sort of from the same thing as mentioned the headline. You continue to ask questions, but the questions are not specific enough again to actually pull in the target audience that you're after. And guess what? You're not alone. So the whole idea here is that this beginning of the letter is you are trying to pull out what the problem is, the problem that you are going to solve. And again, the problem is not specific enough. Okay, you're not making the problem specific enough. Okay, for your target target audience. Okay, in my humble opinion. Now we say fact. Most sales funnels have a conversion rate on the front end between 1% and 3%, and around 10% on the main upsell. That means that you pay $100 to get 200 clicks to your squeeze page from a solo ad. Okay, now you mention where the traffic is coming from in this case. At best, and convert around 100 people and have them land on your front end on the offer. If after that offer sells for $7, that means that you make at best $35. Okay, what about your upsell? Well, 2 people will see it and convert to about 10%. Now, this is not really a problem. You're actually illustrating a low conversion rate. Okay, but the having a low conversion rate and then explaining the low conversion rate, that is not really the problem per se. Okay, and so you're still not appealing to your target audience. You're still not digging into the frustration that your marketers have. Okay, and so saying that you have an end product conversion of 1% and 3%, you have to go now into why those conversions are so low. Okay, and so just saying 1%, 3%, and then going on with an explanation of how the conversion, what the conversion is, in other words, showing that, well, if you have $100 and it's 3% of this and so forth, is not agitating the problem. You're not really scratching where it is itching. Okay, so up to this point, then I cannot feel as though, well, this product is really for me. Okay. Okay, now, do you see why sales funnels don't pay off like they once did? No, you haven't explained why sales funnels haven't paid off like they did. You know, it wasn't, you need to say, well, 10 years ago, this is what the situation was. But now there's competition on Facebook, there's pay-per-click, it's hard to get traffic, the problems with solo ads. You have to say what your product actually, the problem that your product actually solves. Okay, so just simply telling me and stating that that sale funnels conversion is low doesn't tell me why it is low. So you cannot just state and say, well, conversion is low, and say, now you see why sales funnels don't pay off? No, I don't know, because you haven't explained why. Okay, you have just given it the what. Okay, but you haven't said what the why is. Okay, and this is completely intentional payoff. Okay, and this is completely intentional. What is completely intentional? You didn't do anything wrong. I think this is something wrong here. You didn't do anything wrong. The solar ad sellers, pay-per-click and traffic have to start charging more for the traffic. We all need to eat right. I mean, it is simple economics, supply and demand. People will always need traffic. Without traffic, there is no marketing. So how do you get around these tough facts of life? If there is a system or hack that will stop. You see, again, you're not very clear on what the problem is. Okay, you're saying what? The problem is that they are charging more for traffic. Okay, but you're not making it clear. Okay, that is where you're explaining where the competition is and where it's tougher to get, quality traffic and so on. That is the real problem. So the real problem is as far as I see from the letter, is not the low sales conversion. The real problem is that traffic is much more expensive. There's more competition, but that is what you have to delve into. You have to really show and open up the problem. Okay, gorge into the sore, make it bleed, make the person say, yes, I have this problem, and it seems as though that you have the solution. Okay, now is there a system hack that will stop the rising cost of traffic, eating proportion of your funnel? There is, and that's exactly what this page is about. Okay, so you're now presenting what the solution is now. Okay, so you told me what the problem is, now you're going to what the solution is now. Okay, we have built hundreds of sales funnels over the years, both for our own companies and for clients. So we realized the rising cost of traffic was no longer sustainable with the conversion rate that we were seeing. We knew that we had to come up with a solution. Very long sentence. So rather than panic, we got to work. In addition to running hundreds of other websites, we also consulted with other subject matter experts we know, come up with the ideal solution and so forth. We spoke with some of the best names in the business. When we furnished, we were left with something that will made us a little gasp with excitement, something that was laid out in the black, something that enabled us to so forth. Now, by here, you're introducing the things that you have done, but up to now, at this point, you haven't told me who you are. Okay? So at least I think that you should kind of introduce yourself and build your credibility here, rather than saying, the things that you have done per se, just leave it hanging like that. Who are you? What's your company name? How long you've been in business? Okay, tell me something that would build credibility. In other words, then tell me, why should I listen to you? Okay, so I think that along with, talking about the problems that you have had and what you have done and so forth, you should introduce the company and, say who you are to build some credibility. So I get the question answered, why should I listen to you? Now, this is probably a dumb idea. In fact, it has gone wrong and financial recovery, but something astonishing happened. We turned our new created Facebook ads and scaled them up for a month, and the results we see blow our mind. Over the course of 1 month, we added 12 months in and made that. That means that every single person who got opted in, that's month, okay, and and something like this, should have been part of the headline or subhead. Now, here's the sad part of the story. The company I found in this formula, okay, up to now, we are still in the blind. What does the company have a name? Where is it an overseas company? Is it a US company? Is it a Canadian company? Okay, build your credibility. Say a little of who you are. Okay, still you're kind of in the shadows. A lot of business partners did not want to reveal the method they were using anymore. They felt strong about that. We end up parting ways. Morally, I just felt a whole industry was given much needed lifeline we shared with others, and the method we were using, which was driving cold, hard traffic into the pockets every time somebody squeeze page. Here's a sampling of what we covered in the money funnel. So up to this point now, you are now introducing your product, but you haven't introduced yourself to me. Okay, the company doesn't have a face, the company doesn't have a name, There's nothing to say that, well, I can pin you down and I can trust you because I know who you are. Okay, so I'm kind of left in the dark at this point. Okay, let's look at quickly at the bullet points. Step-by-step guide in the money funnel. Step-by-step guide to building out our entire funnel. Never before seen parameters that will cash in and pocket. The two-step process that moves visitors from the consumer to the money phase. How to easily research product. Okay, these are okay bullet points, except that, you know, with bullet points you want to try as much as possible, along with giving the feature to add a benefit along with it too. Okay, so for bullet points, I like to, you know, talk about the feature, give the benefit, and also give the benefit of the benefit as well too. Okay, so I skipped to the bullet point. Okay, personally in today's market. Okay, here again, you know, you're saying personally, but again, I don't know you. In the market, I would attempt to build a sales funnel without having a revolutionary proven step. I mean, don't build a single squeeze page or product or campaign until you have seen this. Have you ever heard the expression, pioneers get scalped, but settlers prosper? The same applies here. This is the exact strategy I use today in my own business. It's the thing that I do outlay. I know what I am doing. I've already done all the hard work for you. And up to this point, I know who you are. That's why I'm so careful to document what works in every simple and easy way. In the past, money fall in mind. So now do you have to go it alone? Sleepless nights and so forth. Collectively we decided the value inside the money funnel will probably worth that. Well, not to me, okay, because you haven't built enough value in the product as yet, okay, or 197. So price presentation. Okay, so by this point, I think that you should have already presented testimonials. You should have already, you know, presented maybe case studies, give some proof of the stuff that you work, because a lot of statements are made here and there's no support for them. Okay, you have said that you made this amount of money using this particular funnel, but, you know, there's no screenshot to show what you have done. There's no proof. Okay, you're asking me to just take it on the fact that you just said it. Plus, I don't know who you are. There's no face, there's no name. You know, so I don't know who you are, and you're asking me to trust you on what you're saying, but there's no proof, there's no testimonials. Okay, so the letter basically lacks credibility. Okay, now I want to do the same thing for other people. Well, let me hear from the horse's mouth. Let me hear some other people, in other words, a testimonial from other people who have done the same thing. I mean, who have benefited from your product. Now, after the price will be $97 for the next 10 copies. Speak to the desirees. Okay, I guess that's an internal note. Start one to subscribe on your funnel. Save tool. Become a hero for your client by becoming a guy who beat. Save time. Avoid potentially cost rookie. Go to 1% conversion, 10% conversion. Okay, and there's the order here. And frequently asked question. Now, the one of I think that no sales letter should have a frequently asked question. And there's a whole article I wrote on that as well too. But I don't think any sales letter should have a frequently asked question. Now, frequently asked question means that these are questions that potential buyers are asking. So why not answer these questions in the letter itself? Okay, so you don't have to have a section called frequently asked question, because the whole idea of writing a sales letter is that you want the person at the end of a sales letter would have no questions at all. So having frequently asked question at the end of a sales letter indicate that you didn't do a good enough job in the sales letter. In other words, then the best thing to do for frequently asked question is to answer those questions in the sales letter itself. And it's easy. An easy way of doing that is just raise the question, you know, and then answer them right in the sales letter. Okay. Why 47? Why so cheap? And catch. Okay, you're justifying the price. Is there a guarantee? Put the guarantee right in the sales letter. How long it will take to access the guide? Put it right there in the sales, you know, put it right in the sales letter. Okay, so I've mentioned some of the things I think that can be improved in terms of the sales letter itself. But again, one of them is the lack of proof. Another one is that I find the letter is too impersonal. It could be a little bit more specific. You know, you're lacking testimonials, and you know, so you're leaving the person there, really hanging. So unless that this letter is going to be sent to people who already know you from a blog or from other place and so forth, I think you kind of leave it out, blogging. Okay, now there are a couple other things as well too, but since this is a quick critique, I'll leave it as that.